Good evening, it's Miriam FB, ENJO UK here. Looking forward to spending half an hour of ENJO fun with you, just live, whether you're live or on catch up. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope that you find tonight's session interesting, and we are going to just chit chat tonight about some of ENJO's helpers. Hello Bev! It's lovely to spend half an hour with you, even if this is the closest we can get at the moment. Hi Brenda, lovely to have you here too. So if you are new to ENJO, then we are a chemical-free cleaning company that uses fibres to help clean. All right, and lots of you who I know come along and use these already have ENJO fibres in your home. And tonight we are also going to talk about our helpers. So we're going to lend a little helping hand and talk. Oh, let me put that there, and then it can just, oh, it can't. Yes, it can. Then it can get video through it. Right, so it will just mean that we can talk tonight a bit about ENJO's helpers, because why do we want, hi Christine, lovely to have you here. Hi Maggie, hi Suzanne. Then why do we want to use water to clean with, and then still bung in our cupboards lots of different chemicals to still kind of work alongside them, such as our dishwasher, all right, those sorts of things, or our laundry liquid. Now, these things may look quite innocuous. You know, we go maybe down the aisle, particularly, and we go and get something that says non-bio on it. Hi, Jill and Clive, and hi, Maggie. So, we go and get these things because we think we are still trying to do things which are positive. And I just want to highlight a couple of things. I've learned some amazing stuff today that I had no Scooby-Doo about, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you in the next half an hour. But let's start off by talking about the products that we have used this week. Oh, my favourite bit. I love hearing what you've been up to. So I have to say, I have become a fanatical lockdown hair cutter. My goodness, honestly, in another life, this would have been me. Evidently, this is what I want to do. Every morning I'm in, snip, snip, snip. So what that means is loads and loads of hairs in the basin. So the product that I have been using again and again and again is our amazing dust fibres on the floor and also on my hand. So if any of you have secretly also been indulging this guilty pleasure, then this is the thing that you need to do. Don't bother with trying to do it damp. Just get your dust glove and it will remove all the evidence. How fantastic. Goodness only knows what the hairdresser will say when we are allowed back out again, but it's not too bad, I don't think. You know, have to zhuzh it a little bit, but it's okay. But what have you been using? So dust fibres for me, they've just been an absolute go-to. Skincare for you, fantastic, Suzanne. I love hearing what you've been using. And I must say, we've been using the skincare zone too. Rebecca sliced her finger yesterday while peeling a potato, and so her thumb was bleeding and bleeding, but it's great. Put the iPad over it. That means that it's going to take out any of the nasties, and then we can just get it out in the air and it will all scab over. The body, oh, Bev, peeling sunburnt skin. That's very owie, but it really does soothe it. And also, the girls are just off to have a bath and a shower because they've been slathered in suntan lotion, and the glove is brilliant at removing all that stuff, because the last thing you want is just to stand in the shower. It's just going to wash off you. So the body glove will take off all of that suntan lotion. More suntan lotion for you, Ms. Larkin. Right. So, what else? I'm just going to look at my little thing before I whiffle on forever. While you're all here, I'm going to talk as well. I've just got some events coming up this week. And I'm going to do more. I know lots of you have been in touch and say, oh, I really want to come, but I can't make it tomorrow. I have 2 Zoom events, and it's still not too late to get onto those. There's one tomorrow at 11 o'clock and one on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If you go onto my ENJO UK with Miriam FB page, you will see the link. you can click on that, it lets you book it. Okay, it's on Zoom. Don't worry if you've never used Zoom, you'll be sent a link and you just click in, okay, if you're interested. We're going to talk about things like why, you know, this one is not going to be working and this one is. So sometimes our fibres look okay, but actually they're not working anymore. So what do we need to know about how they all are? But let's delve into the world of helpers. So I'm going to start with the ones that commonly are the place, I would say, that we have all started. So you may have come along to a demo and we have been chatting with you about, you've said, well, I really want stuff for the kitchen, but I've got a really greasy cooker hood, or it's really greasy down the side of my oven. What do I need? And often we talk about this one. Okay, so this one is our Orange Blossom washing up liquid. It used to be called Real Soap Plus and it had a green label and a green top. Right, if you have that, it's not deficient in any way, it's still going to be working for you. So why this one and why not a bottle of Fairy? All right, what makes ENJO's washing up liquid so special? Why do I need to invest in that? Well, first of all, when we wash up, I always wash up with cold water, right, or lukewarm water, because we know then that the fibres can trap and do their washing up job. So washing up liquid might be a slightly misleading title, all right, for us, because what this does really, it's about, I love the smell of it as well. Oh, if only we could share. All right, so what this does is it enables me, when I've finished, to put some onto my fibre, foam it through hot soapy water, I release all of the dirt. And to make sure that nobody in my house uses too much, then I put a little pump on the top. Each pump dispenses 1.2 mil. All right, whether it's a big litre pump or a little one, it's always 1.2 mil. So tonight, when we're talking about quantities, you just need to scale it up. It's easy peasy, huh? But why is this one so good compared to anything else? Well, first of all, it's about degreasing rather than coating. So often in washing up liquids, there are, a couple of things. Antibacterial, well, we know that is some of those agents are not going to be particularly beneficial for us. They sometimes put softeners in, hand softeners, and that's going to also cause a problem because that's going to coat our fibres. And I don't know what some of those leading manufacturers did last year, but the nature of washing up liquid, supermarket brands, main leaders, something happened and they started not washing out fibres. There was something about an ingredient change that caused a real problem, and though people were washing out their fibres with their bought option, all right, when I went along and I put just a little dot of this on their fibres, tons of grease came out. Right, so what we're interested in is removing it without any harm. None of ENJO's products are going to cause you a problem. They are skin friendly, all right, they are allergy friendly, they're dermatitis friendly, they are plant-based, they're vegan, they are not going to cause any problem. They are pet friendly and they haven't been tested on animals, all right, and the bottle is fully recyclable, whereas many of the other things aren't always. All right, so I love all of those properties about it. And I was just having a look at my little cheaty sheet here. Okay, so it has essential oils in it that Bev's just been speaking about. It's just an orange blossom that is in it. So yes, I use it to wash out my fibres after I've used them, all right, but I would also use that, for instance, on my textile glove if I was getting a stain out of the carpet, sometimes neat on clothes. See this? I'm just hotting from the garden. I was so late I didn't have time to change it, but I've got a little stain there tonight, and so I'm just going to put a little bit of washing up liquid on that before it goes in the wash, and that will just help all of those things. So it's more than washing up liquid, and everything we talk about tonight, I have got sheets, an album in my ENJO UK with Miriam FB page. If you go onto photos, you click all on albums, you will see one that is called Helpers. So more information on this. Lots of other ways of using it, but I know that we're more familiar with this one. Okay, then we move on. We often talk then about marble paste. I'm just going to have to open the lid because I love the smell of this too. Oh, it's so good. Crushed marble, again with oils and a very, very, very fine polishing effect. But it's the only place we wouldn't use that is on natural wood and soft plastics, but fantastic at restoring your stainless steel. You can use it really safely on top of your glass. And let me tell you a story about that. So I went to a lady and she had used quite an abrasive scourer on her oven. And she actually had thought when she started to use just her ENJO glove that ENJO had somehow caused a scratch on her surface. But all ENJO does, remember, is it deep pore cleans. And so what had previously happened was the agent that had been used had scratched the surface, and I see like Brillo pad scratches over people's stainless steel quite often because we're all just trying to find a way that effortlessly to get it clean, which is what these do. But when we use ENJO, sometimes it just reveals the scratches that have previously happened. So what would I do if I had an oven that was really, really tricky? Right, I'm just going to grab something here. Oh, it's in my case and it's refusing to come out. Right, so if I have something that's really bad, I don't need to work away at it with ENJO. And equally, I don't want something really nasty chemical to bung back in my oven. So I would recommend investing in one of these. Right, it doesn't need to be this sort, but a ceramic scraper. Fantastic. Mechanical clean, right? That's going to clean the surface for you and then come in afterwards with your ENJO and that will deep pore clean it. Remember, you need to take away the residue. But this lasts for yonks and yonks and yonks and yonks and yonks. All right, I think I've just changed one that I've had for 5 years. All right, so none of ENJO's products product hungry. The third one that you are going to know all about is calcium dissolver. So this is our natural bleach. This is citric acid that is used to be able to remove stains, calcium buildup, lime scale. Really awesome, and also like my natural bleach. So if I had a slightly stinky drain, this is what I would use. And if I want to clean out my washing machine and if I want to clean out my dishwasher, then this is what I use. Again, lots of helpful information on the page. So what about the cost of these things? Well, this one is 15 for this size, but you can also get them all in litre sizes too. All right, so this one is 36 for a big bottle and 15 for a little one. Right, so the same for the calcium dissolver, that's 18 for a small bottle, 36 for a litre. So if you're someone who uses lots of that or has troublesome water, then it's probably cheaper for you to invest in a bigger bottle. And the marble paste is £24 for that 500ml tub. Okay. Why do I not want to use bleach? Well, I have a septic tank, and for the first few years, we used to have the septic tank pumped out every year. And everybody just said, oh, it's because your house wasn't lived in for a while before you got in and blah-de-blah-de-blah. Well, surprise, surprise. All right, we started to use ENJO and the septic tank started to work. All right, because nothing is impeding the anaerobic activity, and bleach, we know, just kind of rips out all sorts of stuff, doesn't it? So it may look okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about how things look, but they're not actually doing the job. But, all right, it's not actually doing anything. It's just what I've been taught is what clean is. All right, so if I can use something that's natural and mild and really effective and isn't going to cause build-up, then that is so much better. All right, and much better for the land and much better for my septic tank and all those sorts of things. So chlorine bleach that we often use, okay, that one, I'm just reading it over here. We know that it's a lung and a skin irritant. All right, and I think part of the problem is that we're often showed bleachy sort of adverts with a lady pouring bleach down the sink and some happy toddler bounding around, which to our brain says, well, that's nice and safe then, isn't it? We're keeping all the family really good. But it's it's not giving, it's giving the impression of cleanliness, all right, but it's not improving the action of the product in any way, right? It's just complete marketing scam of what we're getting, and the deception goes even further. So often when I come into demos, people say, oh, but you know, it's the clean smell. Can't go away from that clean smell. And what does clean smell of? It doesn't smell of anything, but we've been told it smells of pine berries and smells of lemon and it smells of bleach. So I read a really interesting article today about marketing to women. Most cleaning products are bought by women, and most of us are influenced more by what it smells like rather than what it does. Now, when I was reading that, I thought, oh, really? And I thought, think back, Miriam. What I used to go for was, well, one, because it said that it would clean without me getting out of bed, but more importantly, that it was what it smelled like. And so we've been marketed to not on effectiveness, but just on fragrance. And that's really where chemical companies have said that they lead their main research. Would you buy this? Does it smell acceptable to you? And because we're the ones, the main consumers who are going off and doing that, we've been duped, people. We have been duped. And many of the cleaning products have endocrine disruptors, right? So that's all to do with our hormone balance and reproduction. And also they are known carcinogens, all right, without a shadow of a doubt. So they're our main three that we often talk about. And they also come in a handy little pack all together. So you can buy all three together for a discounted price of £52. Right. So I want to do those because they are sort of like my nuts and bolts of everyday living. However, the one I really, really want to talk about tonight is this. And we don't often talk in much detail about the laundry liquid, but I have learned some stuff today that I would like to share with you just so that you can make an informed choice. All right, so maybe you could just let me know, tippy-tappy on the keyboard, do you use ENJO's laundry liquid at the moment? Now, don't worry, I'm not going to publicly shame you and ask you what you use, all right, but do you use this, yes or no, and how have you got on if you do? All right, so this is all we have used as a family for the last probably four years, yeah, 3 or 4 years. I really like it. I like it because I can use it for everything. All right, I can use it for hand washing, I can use it for silks, I can use it for work clothes, I can use it for absolutely everything. You're a big fan now. That's what I like to hear, Bev. Brilliant. All right, so anyone else who uses it, I would love to hear about that. I then started to investigate what is in our laundry liquid then. So why would it be beneficial for me to use this rather than using, for instance, one of these? Especially when this one, says that it is non-bio. So surely that must be soft on my skin. And I have been looking at today some of the dangerous chemicals that lurk in our laundry. I know, I live an exciting life, hey? Right, I'm glad you like it too, Julie. That's brilliant to hear. Right, do you know that the only reason that we started to use chemicals in things was because in World War I there was a shortage of soap? I never knew. That's my interesting fact for tonight, and showing me yet again that every day is a school day. I had no idea that that is when it all started coming about. So you use it for soaking the fibres. Yeah, it's just brilliant, isn't it? I love it. I really love it, Jill. It's great. So I also have to say that before I started to use ENJO, again, proving that the research is true, I was a big fan of what it all smelt like. All right, so if it smelt good, then it must be good. And so I was massively affected about how I opened up the washing machine. And if it was super pungent, then it must be super clean. Maybe not so. And the clean odour was probably more satisfying than whether it had actually removed the stains. So I want you to think about that for a moment. Do you take something out? It's a bit like the whole bleach thing, isn't it? Do we take something out and we assume it's clean just because, yet again, we have that lovely odour? Or is it actually because it has removed the dirt? Interesting query. Right, let's think back. I've looked at some research today. So there was some stuff done by the University of Washington, and they started analysing some of the most broadly used laundry products and detergents. But I'm just having to look at my bit of paper so I don't forget it all. But they discovered that 5 of the 6 products emitted at least one hazardous carcinogenic air pollutant. So remember what we talk to you about when we come along to demos. We say, if you can smell it, then you can inhale it. All right, so we know, and I know we've discussed this on some of the Mondays as well, that goes down into my lungs. All right, and that affects all of my airways. And we also talk about the impact of stuff touching our skin. So where's all my laundry? My laundry is all over me. And I'm going to talk a bit about that too, because I thought about something today and read some stuff today that I've never really thought about in relation to my laundry as well. Now, you don't have to look at all this research, but I was just interested really, because I love this, but I also want to be able to discuss about it really stacking up. So does it really stack up? Yes, I think it does. Let's talk about the biggie. The biggie that we always talk about with washing up liquid, we talk about with shower gel, we talk about with shampoo, we talk about with all of those things, SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. That's the foaming agent. And these things here, all right, they have that in it because that's what makes it all look all lovely and foamy and frothy in our washing machines. Okay, so why is that a problem? Well, we know that sodium lauryl is linked to cancer, toxicity, the endocrine disruptors again, neurotoxicity, organ toxicity, skin irritation. Nice list, huh? All right, so if we can remove some of those things, then that's obviously going to be a benefit. Do you know how sodium lauryl sulfate started? All right, if you do, then let me know. I only learnt today. So if you know how that started, I trust you are all on Wikipedia right now, then you can let me know if you do know. All right, I'm going to tell you in about 5 seconds because, you know, and you're a bit behind me, so I may have told you already before you tell me. Who would know? Right, so sodium lauryl sulfate started as a garage floor degreaser. Interesting, huh? Okay, so a garage floor degreaser is what we're choosing to wash ourselves with, predominantly. All right, lots of times that's what people are still using, shower gel. All right, that's what we're actually using, and we know that that is also linked to damage of our internal organs. Not sounding great so far. And within sodium lauryl sulfate, there is also something else called dioxine. Now that sometimes is listed on the back of these as an individual product. It isn't on these, and it doesn't mean that it is or isn't, but I was on trying to, you can, because there's hardly anything ever shown on these labels, you can get onto the company's website and you can have a look at all the list of what's actually in there. So I was having a look today at some of the big guys and what they have in, because as we know, manufacturing can cover a multitude of sins under certain terminology, but sometimes a product called dioxine is sitting under sodium lauryl sulfate. So why is that a problem? All right, well, that one can cause eye and skin irritation. All right, it has an effect on the liver and the kidneys, and the state of California actually declared that it would also be linked directly with cancer. I was looking with some stuff with some guys today called Clean Cult. They sound like my sort of people, and they were looking at dioxines, and they were saying here that it's also used as a solvent. Holy moly, but we're using it to wash our clothes in. I mean, who would think that that is sensible? It can cause vertigo, drowsiness, headache, anorexia, irritation of the eyes, nose, throat, lungs and humans, and it also irritates the skin, damage to liver and kidneys, and so it goes on. Now, I'm not making any claims here that the amounts that might be contained in our laundry liquids will directly relate to all of those things, but why do that when we have other really great alternatives? All right, and this is my next bit of learning that I learned today about things like the sodium lauryl sulfate and the dioxins, and there's a list of about 12 other things that I can't even pronounce, which are also not great for us. There's one that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But think about this. We wash our clothes and then we get them out and we hang them up. And we are fairly reliant on the fact that we think that our washing machine will have washed out all of the residue. But if we can smell it, then there's definitely something left still in our clothes. And then they dry. All right, so then we hang them up and then we put them on. And then if we sweat at all, so particularly armpits or groin area, or for me, just generally sweaty, then that reactivates the chemical that's in our laundry. And that means that that is causing us a real problem with those chemicals then transferring into our skin. So I hadn't really made that connection before. I don't know if you had, but I just thought, well, that's kind of interesting and something that I would like to avoid, not just for me, but for my children as well. So when they're damp at all, so if we get into the rain, that's also going to be a problem for us. And then the other ingredient, I'm just reminding myself what the actual title is an optical, what is it? It's an optical brightener. So not in this one that I can see, but it may be under a different name, but in this one, my little non-bio, it says it also contains perfume. Now we know when anything says perfume that covers, and we've talked about that to do with skincare, that covers anything. All right, so it's the legal loophole that is there for chemical manufacturers to put anything that they like in our product, and they put it under that name. So I don't know what that is. I suppose that if I really investigated that I could find out, but we have no idea. But the thing here is about an optical brightener. Now, what's that about? I thought, well, let's go and find out about optical brighteners. Never even heard of it. It's probably that thing that says whiter than white, and because there will not be in here allegedly any bleach, all right, that's bleach that we usually rely on to make things white, then we need something else to do it. So what is an optical brightener? Do any of you know? I didn't know either, but do you know what I know now? I'm going to read you this because I think it's so interesting. Right, in our laundry, to make things look white, the optical brightener, the additive, all right, sends out a blue light. Who would have known? So what's the problem with that then? So the blue light makes whites look whiter by tricking the eye. And what actually it says is it doesn't remove the stain at all. What it does is let your eye see what it thinks is white. Isn't that interesting? So when things say whiter than white, it is the optical brightener that gives your eye that illusion of something being clean. But the stain is still there, but your eye sees the blue additive that lets you think that the stain has been removed. Who knew that? Did any of you know that? I had no idea about that. But in my little non-bio, that is exactly, all right, what is sitting there. A little optical brightener to kid my eye. Something to think about, hey? Do you know what also it says here? Not only is it extremely toxic to aquatic life, all right, so that's a bit of concern for me. I don't really want to poison, particularly living on a small island, the fish stocks around me, or it going into the land in any way. So anything that says optical brightener, extremely toxic when it comes out, but also it can spontaneously combust. spontaneously combust when it creates a static charge. So if, for instance, you put it into your tumble dryer, then it could just combust. My mind is also blown, Bev. I knew nothing of this, but it really made me look at my laundry liquid in much deeper detail. All right, I've spent years going to demos and saying, you know, I'd really encourage you to use this. I'd encourage you to use it because it is natural. It has lavender oil in, it really smells beautiful, it's highly concentrated. You're going to have, right, how many did I decide out of here? You are going to maybe get up to 125 washes out of this little bottle. All right, 125 washes of non-toxic washing. It has salt in to bring softness in. But I've talked about it because I know the positive effect it has on my laundry and on my fibres. But what I didn't know was some of the naughtiness that has been put past us that we really didn't have any idea about. So have a little look on your laundry and see, do you have anything that says Optic Brightener or any other of these 100 list of things which look terrible, and they're easily accessed. You can easily find them online. It's not by scribbling. I just had a little look and you can see what's what. So how much does this cost then? Because surely, you know, if it's going to be that amazing, then not only it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. Well, no, this one, £18, and the litre, £45. Now, we do lots and lots of washing in our house. It also works out considerably cheaper, all right, for me to buy a litre at a time rather than a little bottle. But you may just want to try it and see. As I said, I love it because it is so versatile. I can use it for absolutely everything. So I love that about it. And sometimes I just wash out my all-purpose cloth overnight because nobody's washed it out during the day. And if I wash it out by hand, then it's beautifully fresh the next day. And I just need the tiniest smidgen of this. For a standard load, right, ENJO would recommend that you would use up to 10 ml in the wash. So that would be 4 pumps of this. Is that right? Yes. 2, 5, 8, up to 8 pumps. I feel great, Caroline. How nice to have you along. But in my washing, all I do is 2 to 4 pumps. So I use between 2.4 and 4.8 ml in my wash. And believe me, we are mucky. All right. So if that's all we need, you're likely to need even less. So this one here, oh my goodness, if only I could do maths off the top of my head. All right, it could last over 300 washes. That's phenomenal, is it not? And it would then be about 14p a wash for you. Well, when I look at all the list of all the horriblenesses, then I think that 14p a wash is pretty much worthwhile for me. But I'm just going to implore you, okay, have a little look at, if you're not using ENJO's laundry, then just have a little look at the back of your ingredients here, all right? And just because it says that it's nice and safe on the front, all right, doesn't mean always that those things could potentially not also cause us harm. All right, so that's my little plea for today. I'm not going to do dishwasher liquid or leather and wood balm today because guess what? That's half an hour gone already. Whew! Who would know when you're having so much fun? But I will be back and we will do those another time because actually it's the same story, surprise, surprise, about the sort of stuff that's in these. In fact, they don't even put the ingredients on the packet. Do you know that? I had to go into their website to try and find all the ingredients. All right, not a great sign. So this one though, I know, which uses sweet corn and corn syrup, is fantastic, and I'm going to talk about why, and we will do that another night. We might even do a little bit of that next week just to finish off this little session on helpers because I like to be tidy. Right, well, not that my mother would think, but I do. But I hope you have a really fantastic week. If you want to come along to either of my Zooms, please pop onto my Facebook page and you can book yourself in for that. All right, and if you are coming already, then please bring your fibres along so we can have a little look at those too. I do promise we will do other sessions as well. Remember that we have some amazing May specials as well. They are all on my page. If you want to be part of my fabulous little VIP group for ENJO clients, then get in touch and I can pop you in there too. But it's just nice, isn't it? It's amazing how quickly half an hour goes. And I hope just that you can just distill some of that information and just help you make some great and informed decisions going forward so that you can be the healthiest you can be the safest you, and you can bless your family that way as well. Okay, so stay safe everyone, and lots of love, and I will see you next Monday. All the very best, and thank you very much for joining me. Cheers, bye bye.